Hey folks, in today's video we're going to compare the high yield dividend paying ETFs QDTE versus XDTE. We're going to do it pretty deep dive in and see which fund wins and which one you think would be a better investment. So glad you found this channel. My name's Alex. This is 9 to 5 to Freedom. This channel I talk about my career, we talk about things I invest in, and I'm building a machine that will passively pay me dividend income for me to be able to leave that 9 to 5. So glad you found this. So let's jump right into our today's topic. Okay, let me share my screen here with you. We will start with the QDTE. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with these funds, so QDTE is an ETF by Roundhill, and if we click here, this will give you all the information on it. Okay, so this ETF basically trades on the NASDAQ. It does option calls on it. 0-day expiration. So they're doing option on the NASDAQ 100 top 100 companies, and they're utilizing that volatility in order to create a dividend paying income. Okay, so right now the share of one of these is 39.41, and it is right now saying it's going to pay 100% in dividend. This is not correct. I've actually invested some money into this ETF, and right now I'm showing in my account that the yield on QDT is 33.35% for the year. That's the projected dividend that you're going to make, which sounds like a lot, right? Where if we're thinking about the stock market, we would average around 10% per year over the course of its 50-year time frame. But that's what they're claiming. That's what they're going to do with their strategy. So this is actively managed fund. Okay. Now we're going to look at the performance of this fund compared to the performance of XDTE. Okay, so this is another fund by Roundhill. Okay, this one trades, again, similar strategy, covered call strategy, 0-day expiration on the S&P 500. So we have a little bit of a bigger pool here, 500 companies versus 100. And both these funds came out at the same time. I've also purchased some of these as well. It is estimating annual dividend yield at 21.48%. So we are roughly about, let's see, 12% difference. Okay, QDT will pay 12% more than XDT. Now I went ahead and I plotted both charts on TradeView, and this is what I was able to see here. This is from the inception of the fund. Going back, let's get rid of these commercials here. No, I'm not buying your stuff yet. Let me get some viewers. And by the way, if you're new to this and you like this kind of type of stuff, please give me a like, subscribe. Really trying to build this channel. I'm trying to produce 1 to 2 videos a day. So really putting some time into it. Really appreciate it following. I'm just trying to build a community here. I'm not any guru. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing what I'm doing, what worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. And I'm here to have a conversation. So leave a comment. If you have questions about this, or if you're doing something that works better, really would like to hear that. Okay, so we have the same starting point. As you can see, both of these charts are starting to spread apart. Get a much deeper dive on the QDTE. We see the recovery that happened back in July, and then again we see this spike downward on both of them. Okay, why is this happening? Well, if I had to guess, this is when these dividends are being paid out. Okay, and then we see the disparity. We see the disparity between XDTE and QDTE. We were left with negative 5.85% return for that period since inception of the fund, and QDT sitting at negative 15.14%. Now, this sounds like XDT is a winner and Everybody should buy into that, right? Well, not exactly. If I click this little button here, this will add into the dividends that it pay out throughout this time. And then you see what kind of gains you actually received. And I found this to be very interesting. Okay, so if you started out in March, this is our base point, and then we see the growth and dividend payout throughout this whole time, which resulted in 15.69% for QDTE and 15.81% for XDTE. As you can see, as the dividend was larger for QDTE, it had more NAV erosion. The value of the fund has decreased. But at the end of the day, the performance was very, very similar. I mean, we can see how XDT is in the lead in some of these periods here. Looks like mostly in the fall. And then they're starting to track one another hand in hand. So I assume it's because of the similarity on the type of investments they're doing and their strategies that they're using for both of these funds. We're seeing similar performance. Now, the question that you might ask is, well, if you would have just bought the S&P 500, let's see, if you would bought VOO, this is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, where would you end up? Well, as you can see here, you would end up actually in a better position with either the QDT or the XDT, and actually in the lead by over 1%. So I'd say this is very impressive performance. And part of the nice thing about these round hill funds is that you are getting that dividend income right now. Now, you might be in different stages of life, and dividend income might not be your best approach. If you're starting to build that portfolio and you are just starting out snowballing your portfolio into it. See, if you are purchasing dividend ETFs, every distribution that you're going to have, most likely you're going to be paying taxes on, even if you were invested. If you're just purchasing a fund, continue to put money into it, then you will not be taxed at that moment as the fund is growing. So make sure you reach out to a professional investment advisor who's able to guide you in your best strategy. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my analysis for your entertainment purposes only. That being said, I think both of these funds are very good contenders for a nice dividend payout. Although I would see the advantage of XDT as it has lower erosion. It might not be promising you that higher gain, but I feel like psychologically, as you see much lower erosion as opposed to QDTE, you might feel a bit better about the fund. I'd like to know what your comments and what your thoughts are on both of these funds. So I really appreciate if you leave a comment below. And again, subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good day, folks.